Spider-Man, Spider-Man.
Yo.
Does whatever a spider
Yo!
can. Spins a web.
Hey, you.
What?
Stop.
Nah.
What do you mean, nah?
Spider-Man,
No!
Spider-Man. Does whatever a spider can.
I hope that you all are having a blessed and productive day today. Today, I want to talk about the things that I want to see in the next Spider-Man 4 movie. As it stands right now, we're going on 2 years without a Tom Holland Spider-Man movie. It seems like they haven't started filming yet, and nobody besides, Tom Holland and the writers would know if it's a good script or not. So, I just want to run over what I would want to see in this next movie. Number one, I want a grounded story. No multiverse stuff. I know that this is the multiverse saga, but we really don't need that from this Spider-Man right now. Since we've been introduced to Tom Holland Spider-Man, he's been handed out tech by Tony Stark. He's worked with the Avengers. He's fought Thanos in space. We need a grounded story. The third movie was really his origin movie. He got the with great power comes great responsibility moment, but this time it was from Aunt May. He made a pretty selfless and responsible choice to allow the world to forget him so that his villains from across the multiverse don't bleed into his and start wreaking havoc and causing trouble. And in that same movie, Aunt May died. And on top of that, Tom doesn't have any friends or a girlfriend now because everyone forgot him. So this really sets Peter up to be in an interesting spot. We can see a comic Spider-Man. I've always felt like this Spider-Man, Tom Holland Spider-Man, had potential to be really good, like spectacular Spider-Man type good. The thing is, they kind of dragged his progression out and he didn't really become Spider-Man until the third movie. He was introduced in 2016 and the third movie came out in 2021. That's 5 years, bro. The progression, that with great power, seeing him really turn into that responsible Spider-Man, it took way longer than it should have, in my opinion. But where he's at right now sets him up to be in a really cool spot. He has no friends, no connections, even the teachers don't remember him. Nobody remembers him. He has his own apartment now, so he's not living with Aunt May because she's gone. He doesn't have Tony Stark. You know what I mean? So this really sets him up to be alone and have to make new connections and have to fully rely on himself. We can get a really good Spider-Man versus street tier villain story here. And speaking of that brings me to my number 2. I want more Spider-Man villains. When I say Spider-Man villains, I'm talking about like Scorpion, Kraven, Rhino, and I want to see Kingpin too. The thing with the first 2 Spider-Man movies, Spider-Man Homecoming and Spider-Man Far From Home, is that the writers took Spider-Man villains and made them Stark villains that Spider-Man pretty much just happened to be getting in the way of. Vulture hated Stark and Mysterio hated Stark. None of these people, though they ended up building relationships or like having some sort of connection with Peter during the film, they weren't really his villains because their motivation for being evil was coming straight from hating Iron Man. I want Peter's next villains to genuinely not like him. We saw Scorpion at the end of Homecoming. He was in jail and he really, like, more than anything wanted to destroy Spider-Man. So I feel like Scorpion should definitely get out of jail in this next Spider-Man movie and become a villain in that one. He doesn't have to be necessarily the main villain, but he can be the main physical threat. And you can have someone like Kingpin or Tombstone or one of those business type of villains hire him to destroy Spider-Man. And bringing up Kraven again, I think he would be someone that would be cool to, even if he's not hired by someone, he could see Spider-Man as a worthy opponent to hunt, just like he did in Spectacular Spider-Man. Number 3, I want a Miles Morales introduction. Now, it's been theorized that Miles Morales' parents were heard talking at the end of No Way Home. Honestly, I think it's possible that it could have just been an Easter egg to point towards him. I don't know if he'll actually be his next door neighbor, but I do think that would be a great way to set him up. Because when you think about it, if Peter's going to college, I'm not sure if he is, but if he is in college, Miles Morales is usually younger than Peter. So it's unlikely that they would be in the same college together since Miles would still be in high school, unless they age him up. But I do think having him as a next door neighbor would be just as good. Would be a great way to just have Peter and him build a bond naturally. And he doesn't have to become Spider-Man in this next one. He can get bit by the spider at the end of the movie or maybe in the next movie after that. Really, I just think it would be a great way for friendship. Peter could fill as a big brother for Miles Morales. Next, I want to see a Black Cat introduction. Now, since Liz and MJ are gone, Peter's list of love interests are dwindling down to very few people. And I do think that Black Cat is the best choice because, one, nobody remembers Peter, but everyone does remember Spider-Man, and Black Cat, more often than not, really is interested in Spider-Man more than Peter. Another reason is Black Cat hasn't been done in live action before. Now, Felicia Hardy, she was in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 movie, but we never got to see her become Black Cat. And another angle I think you could have with Tom Holland Spider-Man is maybe he meets up with MJ again, but he's reluctant to even try to rebuild that relationship with her because of his feelings for Black Cat. Or it doesn't have to be MJ. It could be a whole new love interest like Gwen, where Tom might remember that Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man and Gwen didn't end up well, but he's still really into her, but really into Black Cat as well. You could have, like, I really do think that love triangles, if done right, can be such an interesting thing. But yeah, Black Cat should definitely be in this next movie. Number 5, I want to see Norman and Harry Osborn be introduced. The introduction of Harry would serve a similar purpose as it would if Gwen was introduced, but at a greater level. Peter would probably be pretty reluctant to be friends with someone with that last name Osborn, especially when his father, but from another universe, is responsible for the death of Aunt May. So he would also be pretty reluctant to not swing on Norman Osborn and take his head off. But Harry could fill that Ned role since Ned and MJ are off at MIT now. And plus, another reason why this would be interesting is Peter might feel guilty for even wanting to be friends with Harry. Or you could have the same thing. Peter meeting Norman. Norman would seem like a nice guy, but he would feel guilty for even wanting to be nice to him or even being nice to him in general because he killed his aunt. Well, him from another universe killed his aunt. So that in itself has a lot of potential. And I definitely do think that it's about time that Peter meets Harry. That is his best friend at the end of the day. And I do think Timothée Chalamet would be a good pick for that role. These next few last ones are going to go by kind of quick. These are just little, things that I'd want to see. I'd either want to see Peter in college or I'd want to see him working at the Daily Bugle so that he can afford to keep paying for his apartment. Next, I want the same suit that we had at the end of No Way Home. I just want it to be a real suit and not CGI. The colors are beautiful. The suit, the overall design is beautiful. It's definitely one of the best Spider-Man suits, and it's top 2. Honestly, between the TASM 2 suit and that suit. And lastly, this is way easier said than done, but I really just want Tom to have an iconic scene. Now, we look at Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, and we have iconic scenes like the train fight. We have the Goblin fight. And when I talk about the Dr. Octopus fight, it wasn't even the fight that made it so iconic. It was what came after the fight. After Spider-Man went and stopped the train from falling off the rails, he fell into the arms of the people of New York, and they embraced him. They realized he was a kid. They gave him his mask back. When Dr. Octopus came to take Spider-Man, they all tried to defend Spider-Man, like putting their lives in danger just to protect Spider-Man. So more than anything, I would say that scene really encapsulates what Spider-Man means to the people of New York. For this next trilogy, I really want them to delve in and dive into just what Tom Holland's Spider-Man means to the people of New York. I want them to explore different aspects of this character. I want them to show us something different with this character that hasn't been done before, not just from a technological standpoint, but most importantly from a writing standpoint. This is the first live-action Spider-Man we've seen lose Aunt May. This is the first Spider-Man we've seen his friends completely forget him. I want to see just how that loneliness impacts him and how he grows from it, how he keeps pushing forward regardless of what has just happened and taken place in his life. Regardless of what he's lost, I want to see how he comes back and keeps going. And that is it for the video. If you guys enjoyed, please like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on the notification bell so you get notified whenever I release a video. And let me know in the comments what you would want from Spider-Man 4. And with that all being said, I will catch you all in the next one. Peace!